the traditional car showroom obsolete? Well, here in Singapore, we don't go to the airport just to do airport things. We go to gaze at the waterfall, get some retail therapy, have a gourmet meal. So here we are at the Audi House of Progress, and I want to find out if this is the same. Like, if we don't go to the airport just to do airport things, will you want to hang out at the Audi House of Progress, even if you're not shopping for an Audi? So the House of Progress is in Chinatown, specifically at 18 Cross Street. Not quite CBD, not quite shopping belt, but it is a pretty bustling location. And it's pretty far away from all the other car showrooms in Singapore, and that in itself says a lot about this place. Audi does have pop-ups called House of Progress that is brought to places like Sao Paulo, Milan, Tokyo, and yes, Singapore. But those were temporary, and they were meant to facilitate discussions about design, performance, digitalization, and sustainability. Well, this place is permanent and it is more or less a showroom, although I think they would prefer me to call it like a brand experience center or a lifestyle destination. Whatever it is, let's check it out real quick together. And the first thing that's caught my eye is this lovely green wall here at the reception area. You might not know this, but those lights above me are actually UV lights, and that's to keep these plants alive. They are real plants. There is even a self-watering system to keep these fellas happy. But if you want some watering yourself, there is a hidden cocktail bar. It's run by Burnt Ends, the F&B partner for Audi House of Progress. Last time I was here, I tried a Black Forest drink, and it tasted like the real thing. Basically, it was a case of cocktail and cake together at last. And that is where you're gonna find all that lovely liquid goodness, the GT bar. Now, it's actually usually hidden and it only appears at 4 p.m. every day. It is now 4:01, which means I am just in time. Meanwhile, this part of the House of Progress is called the Performance Suite, and it's where you're going to find the faster Audis as well as racing cars like this one. This is the RSQ e-tron, and it's the car that won the Dakar Rally for Audi in 2024. It was actually the very first electrified vehicle to win that 8,000 kilometer race, so it is pretty historical. Not sure if this is the actual winning car, but you can see that it has seen some action in the desert. Now, Audi will be switching this out every couple of months, so make sure you come down and check out this one. If you want to try your own hand at some competitive driving, you can in the virtual world, but this is for now only by invitation. The other night, I happened to bump into an old friend of mine who's actually pretty handy behind the wheel, and after some gentle teasing about gender roles and leaving racing to the boys, we decided on a friendly little race. At least I thought it was friendly, but she ended up taking me to school, and I had to concede that girls can drive just as well as boys. And then I had to go make her a sandwich. But if racing is not your thing, then there is the Quattro Golf Lounge. Now, Audi does have a tournament for customers called the Quattro Cup, and here's where you can get in some practice swings. This is apparently a top-of-the-line golf simulator that recreates all the most famous golf courses around the world. I think I'll stick to the other kind of driving. Ooh, but there's cakes and caffeine to go with the cars because this place has a cafe run by Burnt Ends Bakery. Here's where you can talk beans with a barista and take in some Michelin-starred scrumptiousness. We're talking German-inspired bakes such as a reimagined currywurst, schnitzel sliders, as well as Apfelstrudel donuts, and my personal favorite, Black Forest donuts. Yum, yum. Okay, I'm just gonna get myself settled in here, and that'll give me the chance to point out that at the end of the day, this still is a car showroom. It's a retail space, and there's room for 8 cars in here. And the reason it's here, well, less than a year ago, Audi Singapore kind of had a breakup talk with its only dealership here, that's Premium Automobiles.
What happened? Something must have happened.
It's not you, it's me.
That means that this entire space is here because Audi, that's Germany's Audi, wants to sell cars directly to you, pretty much without a middleman.
There are a lot of different retail concepts out there. The landscape is really fast and really interesting and really dynamic. And we decided for Singapore to go with direct to customer because we wanted to have the direct connection to the customer, and we wanted to have full control over the one-to-one customer interaction. And also because we always put the customer in the center of everything we do, we believe it's the best thing to do it ourselves.
Before we get into all that, it's worth quickly diving into the car business and how it actually works in Singapore, and then talk about how it's changing. You have the car factory in, say, Ingolstadt, and traditionally a brand would have a distributor, which would then appoint a dealer or dealers. Sometimes the distributor is a third party, and sometimes it's a sales company belonging to the car company itself. For example, BMW dealers, Eurocars, and Performance Motors buy their cars from BMW Asia, which gets its cars from BMW itself. Cycle & Carriage buys Kias from Kia Asia Pacific in Kuala Lumpur, and so on. The dealership's role is to hold inventory, actually sell the cars, manage the customers, handle the test drives, do the trade-in, arrange the financing, handle the spare parts, do the servicing, repairs, that kind of thing. But things are definitely changing. There is a kind of emerging setup called the agency model, which is sort of half and half. The manufacturer sets pricing, holds inventory, and sells the cars, but it still has a dealership to focus on the customer relationship, handle test drives, and hand over the new car to the customer. All this for a fixed commission or handling fee. That's the arrangement that Hyundai Motors Global Innovation Center Singapore has with Komoko Motors for the Ioniq 5 and 6, while Komoko still has a full dealership role with the other Hyundai models. What Audi is doing with House of Progress is called direct to customer, and that's when a car company decides, screw it, I can totally do this, I can do retail. There's only one problem. Retail is hard.
I believe in Singapore, yes, the retail space is very hard, but it's also very dynamic. And what customers want nowadays is something that is different from the old concepts that you had over decades. And that's what I said, the retail space is changing very rapidly. And what you have to offer to the customers and what we want to offer to the customer is a different concept, is something that appeals to our existing customers. So we hopefully will see a lot of existing Audi customers here, and we will have our My Audi World events here at this place. We will also see a lot of new people that you would never see in a normal dealership, right?
So to some extent, this place is all about trying something new. But let's pull back a little bit and ask ourselves, why are car companies tearing up the old playbook and trying to shake things up? Well, if you ask me, it's all about one thing: money. See, legacy car makers have had to invest tens of billions into R&D in order to develop electric cars and keep up with the Chinese. That means they're now under enormous profit pressure because, well, they have to pay for all that development expense somehow. And I suspect that one way they think they can do it is to take all those fat, juicy dealership margins and profits for themselves. If you ask me, there's two reasons behind this. One, they saw Tesla doing it and they thought, hey, Tesla can sell straight to customers. Well, if they can do it, I can do it too. Two, and I'm not saying this in particular about Audi, but sometimes there is a little bit of tension between the car company and the dealership. It usually goes something like this. The car company thinks, oh, you dealers, all you know how to do is cut prices, give discounts to move inventory and devalue my brand. Well, I'm gonna show you how to do it. I'm gonna sell cars without cutting prices. So what's going to happen now is you can order your new Audi online with clear pricing on the brand's new portal, which it describes as an end-to-end sales channel. But I think there's a couple of unanswered questions here. First of all, I think car companies forget that in the earlier days, Tesla was almost viewed more like a gadget company than a car company. So I think it was a little bit easier for their customers to switch to a new way of buying cars. Will Audi customers feel the same way if they've become used to buying cars from a traditional dealership on Lane Key Road? Second, it isn't always easy to match demand and supply perfectly. What I mean by that is, remember, car dealerships have to hold inventory, they have to buy the cars, and very often they actually borrow money to do that. This means that it costs them a lot in terms of financing and interest just to hold on to their stock. Sometimes it actually makes sense for them to just discount the cars, do the deals, and get them off the books. Now when it's Audi Singapore holding the stock, and when things get a little bit slow, which always happens sooner or later because this is business after all, it will be interesting to me to see if they'll be able to keep the prices steady. Then there's the after-sales question, meaning servicing and repair. For now, Audi customers are going to be taken care of by Premium Automobiles, the former dealer. That's a profit center in itself, so I think Audi Singapore is missing out big time. But I'm willing to bet that they simply haven't had the time to set up a workshop, train a bunch of technicians, find a parts warehouse, groom some frontline staff, and all the rest of that. And that's another piece missing from the puzzle. Remember, you see your car salesman and then you collect your car and that's it for a couple of years. Servicing is when you actually get to interact with the dealership maybe twice a year, and that gives the dealership a chance to show you something shiny and new, or maybe even just remind you that the brand is still there. But maybe that's the whole point of House of Progress. It's a place where you can drop in for some food, hang out in an interesting space, and maybe get to know Audi a little bit better, and who knows, maybe this is where you come to fall in love with the brand.
That was the concept, to appeal to our existing customers and give them a top-notch brand experience, but also to appeal to customers who are maybe curious about the brand and have not been in touch with the Audi brand so much, but to break down that barrier and make them come in. And this is also, for example, why we collaborated with boldest, because we believe food is a big thing in Singapore. So it's something that attracts new people to the brand.
We'll see how it goes, and certainly the entire car industry in Singapore is eager to see how it goes. But if you ask me, on a global level, car companies used to chase market share like crazy, but now they're chasing after profits to help pay for EV programs. So I think Singapore is going to judge the House of Progress not so much on how many cars it helps them to sell, but how much it adds to the bottom line.
We want to sell a lot of cars and we want to be profitable. The second thing, and that is getting more and more important also, is the engagement with the customer. If we have a lot of new customers that we've never seen in the Audi brand before, then I think this is really proving to be a very, very successful concept for us. And that's what we want to do. We want to future-proof the Audi brand in Singapore, and we want to bring the Audi brand to people who have never been in contact with the Audi brand before. If we're successful in doing that, then I think it's a really, really successful concept.
Well, as for me, they had me at the donuts. I mean, come for the food and stay for the cars, or come for the cars and stay for the food. I think either works with Audi. Hey, hope you enjoyed my little take on Audi's interesting new space. But what do you think? Do you like the whole direct-to-customer idea? Would you prefer a more normal dealership experience? Leave me a comment, I really want to know. And of course, we have tons of other videos for you to watch, with many more to come. So please consider subscribing, because that would really help us out. Thanks for watching. See you again. I really tried to hit that. Damn it.